Hey beautifuls, welcome back to my channel. Now, if you're new here, then you do not know that we've started a series called Queer Talks. It's with me, myself, and I, Kahonina with the cuteness, and
Buhle and I from Queer X Talks.
And darling, let me tell you, together, Sobabili times 2, we're the baddest in the school, the baddest in the game, the baddest with the bars, in our own ding lanes, and this, hi Bosisi, this is Queer Talks. Now, last week we spoke about identity politics, and today we wanted to extend that conversation. You know what? Just like identity, our conversations will be like the water, it will flow. And today we wanted to talk about coming out in spaces, how to navigate those spaces.
Exactly.
And then in those spaces, allies. It's allies,
Yeah.
not allies.
Allies, what's one?
Sehoa is not
Same.
the marathon.
Exactly.
Allyship, navigating spaces, and then coming out. But maybe a different coming out, then how to navigate spaces as a queer body,
Yes.
and then how to spot allies. Right?
Yeah.
Not spot them, but
But,
we'll expand on it when we
Yeah,
get there.
yeah.
Okay, what is coming out, Buhle?
sure. I mean, the
Uh-huh.
dictionary definition is just saying, hey, I'm gay. You know. But I think it's different for different spaces and for different people. You know, I think with some people it's coming home with a girlfriend or boyfriend saying, hey, this is my partner.
Accept it.
And it's vibes. And we keep it moving. And in other spaces it's, yo, let's pray before you come out so that you don't die.
Crying.
And in other spaces, it's, especially I think that's what I appreciate with friendships especially, is just we're having a conversation, skulmang abafana the boys, and then gish I'm saying, oh yeah, and that girl, and it's fine, you know.
Okay, I'm not sneezing. Continue. Get a corona!
Coronavirus.
Well, level 1 now. But you must still be safe.
But yeah, like, so I think coming out is just really just saying, hey, this is who I am. It's not always a necessity though, you know, but yeah, that's what it is.
Let me tell you, is coming out a product of a heteronormative society?
Definitely.
Because straight people don't have to come out.
That was not, that didn't even require a question.
It's
Definitely.
right? And so the question is, as queer bodies, we spoke about identifying ourselves, but this is the question. Should we reject coming out? Should I be able to just say, this is me? Or do I owe it to myself to be honest and say, this is me and this is my identity?
Just like queerness
Yes.
and how it's so different
Yes.
inside. I think also here, it's literally goes down to the individual. Not how you're similar to this person, not what you do.
Not a group.
The individual. When if you
Yourself.
feel like there's no need for me to come out,
Don't.
But then I have an issue with people who are like, no, why should you come out? What? To other people who want to come out.
Okay.
Because there's some people who have lived very, you know, inside
Dishonest lives.
for a long time. Where coming out is not necessarily a letting people know, but more freeing themselves.
Exactly. It's for yourself, because you know what?
I am.
I've tweeted this once before. If you don't follow us on Twitter, what are you doing?
What are you doing?
The game. I've tweeted this before that you don't owe anybody your sexuality.
You don't.
Right? But you owe yourself freedom.
You do.
And we spoke lightly about this in the previous video about straight acting, straight passing, and now we're talking about dishonesty.
Yeah.
Right? You owe yourself that freedom. Hore, yeah, you might be straight passing, but at least you're honest in your queerness.
Definitely.
And so I think once you're comfortable in yourself, you must start finding people like you to talk to share. You don't think?
I mean, on a personal level, definitely. I want people like me around me because it's tiring sometimes.
The experience of queerness is very lonely.
Exactly.
At a young age, especially.
Especially when, like, you know, in families where there's like one or two.
Yes. And you're still young
Exactly.
to be having those conversations with them.
Exactly. Therefore, it is important for yourself. But if now you feel like I want to be the only queer person in a space,
Rapela that God kills you now. Not. Oh my God!
That's what I
Tshwara pelo ya hao, o re Modimo. Because no. You know, it's the same thing as this conversation. Wanting to be the first to do anything is rooted in a bit of a problematic idea.
I do think so. Like, because maybe many years ago, I understand that it was, you wanted to open the space up.
Yes.
To people like
an innovator, game changer.
And I do understand that. And I think a younger me wanted to be the first black something,
yes,
because I wanted to open the space for people behind me. But then I grew up and I said,
are you together?
Exactly.
Grab my hand and grab yours.
I don't want to be the only person.
It's lonely. It is
I therefore do not only want to be the only, queer person.
You don't want to be the only queer person in the space.
Because
it's lonely.
Yeah.
And nobody should have to go through that alone. So if you choose to go through that alone, rappel. Because you know what?
It's hard.
And coming out, we've seen a lot of coming out videos, right? But I want to bring it even more closer to the Inklizio. We live in a country that's very homophobic. Very homophobic. Now we must talk about that. Coming out in a state, because as a country, legally on definition, Bambiri paper. I do law on the side sometimes. You know, this school thing is a hobby. But legally on the papers, we are so progressive as a nation. So progressive. But come either one of you walk in the streets of a community that we don't belong, even in communities we belong to, but in a greater community, it's danger.
100%. But I think in coming out, and I think a lot of people can relate to it, is there's many things to consider. You know, for a long time, for me, safety outside was only a second thought. I was still thinking about, if I come out at home, will I still have family? So coming out is
it's a journey, and it's not a mandatory one, because the only person you need to come out to is yourself. The only person, right? Because you need to be honest with yourself.
Exactly.
You need to, because if you're not honest with yourself,
hey, you're a Christian for long. Let me tell you, I prayed the gay away for years.
And you remember that video? What I said? You can pray the. You remember that song? You can pray the gay away. Hey, no matter what your preacher say. There's no changing DNA. Exactly.
Yeah, no,
you can't.
Shout out to the people that were able to do it, though. I have. Some people did it. Some people did it.
But then you go around bleeding onto people. Don't you think? Let's talk about this. I'm going to talk from my experience.
Yeah.
There are men, grown men at that, who go, banyala, traditional, indoda, straight, wanyala, unaliwala. And then he wants to come back into, with the cuteness is DMs, and live out a truth that he denied himself months, years, decades, centuries, millennium ago. Hakiri millennium, these people are old.
But it goes also into navigating spaces, though.
Let's talk about it.
Because I don't fault people for being in the closet. I don't fault people for being DL, although it's dangerous for other people's feelings.
It is dangerous.
I don't fault you because I know how much it took for me to be able to openly say this is who I am.
Oh.
You know? The amount of shame that's put, even before fear, the amount of shame that's, put on being a queer person is a lot for some people to handle. So I don't blame someone for coming out even in their 40s. But let's be responsible.
Let us be responsible. Especially with people's hearts. Nobody's saying you have to come out. And I say you must come out to yourself, because coming out is a journey.
Exactly.
But it's not just one journey. It's a lot of journeys. There's the emotional before there's the physical. You must admit to yourself, before you can even be with the same sex partner, you must tell yourself in this thing, in the cope, Hore, Mara, I do like this person. Because a lot of us, I do think a significant amount of people do question identity and sexuality. And so, significant, not everybody, I don't know.
Yeah.
Significant amount of people.
And questioning doesn't mean you're gonna, in the end, come up with it.
Yes, exactly.
You can just question because you question.
To question doesn't make you concrete in queerness.
What the wonder affair.
But
But again, I'd like to just shift you a bit and change
Let's
that
shift.
language and not say come out to yourself.
Come out to what?
No.
Not even come
Let's say,
out.
not come out. Just pull yourself towards yourself. Understand.
But
Because coming out to yourself seems like there's a discovery you must make. Yes, it's a discovery, but it's like, I don't know, it seems compulsory.
is it not though?
I don't think it is.
Let's unpack it.
If, again, personally, to myself, I feel like, yes, I needed to make a discovery for myself to be able to live fully and happily as I am living currently. But I don't think if someone was standing in front of me, and I mean, we kind of know what you call it, this is what's happening. I wouldn't say to you, my friend, you need to come out to yourself. I say, Emma, do you?
Everybody must do them. Mara,
Boy.
we speak about community, LGBT community. And we speak about DL people, we speak about people in the closet. And we make this distinction, I make this distinction. Hore, there's straight passing, then there's straight acting, then there's DL. And we understand that in some spaces it's not safe to come out.
Yeah.
Right? But what do we have to say about people? Maybe not what we have to say, but there's people who choose to be straight acting, who choose to be DL for comfortability and also because they benefit from straight privilege, right?
Definitely.
And so you need to be honest with yourself
That's very true.
because it's dangerous.
That's very true.
And then you go and you bleed into other children.
That's very true.
Ore na le wena ra jole, mara o DL, and now I have to live my love for you in secret. You're my friend on the streets, but together we're in the sheets.
I'll never be.
I'll
Never be anyone's friend.
Exactly.
You're grown.
We've been there, we've done that. Sikulile, we have a dollar.
No.
We cannot be, guys. Get 2020, wake up. You need, and I'm not saying anybody owes you their sexuality, but they owe you honesty. But somebody who can't be honest with themselves can't be honest with you. Do you see where I'm going with this?
Yeah, I understand you, but I think I want to move more now into
Okay,
who navigate in space
navigating spaces,
as different people.
different identities.
Exactly. I mean, we've both been to high school. Did you go to high school?
Did I finish? Am I Casper? Am I so easy? All I know is I'm a star. Continue.
Anyway, as I was saying, I mean, because I went to an all-girls school.
And I went to an all-boys school. If you don't know, all-girls school, all-boys schools. So those have their own experiences as well.
Exactly. And I feel like that was the safest place to be a queer person. Yes, the leadership, the institution was homophobic, but the space itself was very safe for me as a queer person because I went to a co-ed school for like 1 year.
Okay.
And I was like, cut the cameras! Dead ass, dude. I am not doing this, honey, because the institution doesn't even have to be homophobic because it's the people around you. You know what I'm saying? Therefore, I think leaving an all-girls school was like a shock to my system because
now you must interact with men.
The world is not that safe. Exactly. Exactly. Like.
And on my experience end, I went to 2 all-boys school, right? One of which I would say might not be as transformed as it should be, and one that anchors itself in being a transformed school. However, the one common thing is, did I feel safe in those spaces? Right? Because Buhle has her experience of going to an all-girls school, but I went to a school with men. In a society that's patriarchal. In a society that's homophobic. That is a different experience. And for me, and my identity, as who I am now, who you see, Kahodina with the visible queerness, right? Took a lot of trauma and pain. Because not only am I fighting to feel comfortable in a space, I'm fighting for a space to be safe of everybody who looks like me and up to me. Who's gonna come after me.
Definitely.
Right? But at that, I'm still fighting this. I'm fighting the patriarchy. I'm fighting the masculinity. And I'm not a masculine presenting person.
In a masculine space.
In a masculine space. Which is enabled by a masculine society. It happened to you. And so the question is, how do queer bodies navigate spaces? Especially if you want to do it alone. Do you understand why we're saying you can't do this alone?
You can't. Why do you want?
Why do you want to do it? Well, listen,
just
tell us.
Yourself.
Why would you want to navigate a space alone as a queer body?
Why?
Still no answer?
Anyway, I think I just want to go then into moving into a different space.
Okay.
How did you feel leaving high school?
I did not notice how suffocated I was until I left.
Okay.
Right? Because my whole life, my friendship circle was 98% women, girls.
Oh, yes.
Right? And so when I went to a male school, there was that shock. But I was glad to adjust to it for 5 years of high school.
Because
when I went out of that space, I felt safer.
Yeah,
Because I've left the confinements of masculinity, patriarchy, and homophobia. Right? And now I navigate my spaces differently. Yes, I still have male friends from high school. But in a new space, I'm less likely to go and interact with men. Because of my experience and proximity to them in those 5 years. The danger that I faced in those spaces has made me so afraid to navigate new spaces with men. Now we know we live in this country. We know the stats, right? And we know how spaces are, especially if they have men in them. Let's talk about them. You're queer, you're femme, you're a woman.
Yeah.
How do you even begin to navigate that space?
Yeah. Without dying.
Without dying. And you know, we go to school, we go to that school we go to. People know where it is. That's also not a safe space.
It's not. It's not. But you see, here's a gate.
Yes.
As soon as I step inside, I feel a bit safer then.
When you're outside.
When I'm right outside.
By the doorstep.
Exactly.
The doorstep is not safe.
Exactly.
Inside the house it's safe. Safe. Not safe, but safer.
Yeah. Yeah.
That brings us into our next point though. About if we're navigating spaces, right? And you're navigating spaces with hopefully queer people.
Yes.
What if somebody is not queer, but they want this space to be safe for you? The ally. You know, in World War II, they were allies. They were together to defeat the ends of justice. So, they were together.
What's one?
Allies. Let's get into them.
Before we delve very deep into this, I just want to say, and as many straight friends as I have, because I have a lot of straight friends, always take allies with a pinch of salt. Always take allies with a pinch of salt. I mean, most of my friends are straight. A lot of the people who are close to my heart are straight.
Okay.
And I love them to death.
Yes.
But I will always take them with a pinch of salt.
Raja no rock spice.
Because 2 seconds we're chilling. Where you're an ally. You don't understand something in the queer community. And if I don't understand something in the queer community, I ask or I keep quiet. When are you like hype at this thing?
Well, your opinion.
And then you say something offensive. You know what I do? I relax. I don't have time to fight with allies anymore. Because
performative activism. Performative.
I don't have time. If you say you're an ally, good for you. But
if you say you're an ally, you need to do the work as equally as you do it, if not more.
Not let my life depend on you, especially if it's surrounding my queerness. Ever.
You can't.
Ever.
Now, we're not saying that allies are bad people. We're saying that there is a different experience that you have when you live in that identity. And so there are people who don't live in that identity but want to make spaces safer for you. But in wanting to make spaces safer, you need to learn, right? Exactly. You need to teach yourself. In fact, you need to teach yourself more than somebody in that experience because they live part of that truth.
Exactly.
Right? And so when you don't know, you need to learn. And now this is my question. Somebody says they're an ally, but something in their life doesn't agree with queerness, homosexuality.
What are we saying then?
What are we saying?
Yeah?
It's impossible.
Oh.
It's impossible for someone to say, I respect you because you're my friend. I respect you because you're my cousin, you're my daughter, you're my uncle, you're my sister. But I don't agree with it. Is that allyship? And is that possible?
Listen, I'm bouncing.
Period!
I don't care who you are.
Like a pussycat out the door.
I don't care who you are. Blood relation, best friend,
your allyship needs to be absolute.
Gone.
It needs to be absolute. If you're an ally, then you're an ally for everybody in the community.
Exactly. And you shouldn't take me as I love you even though you're just say I love you. That's fine.
For who you are.
Just
not
say,
even for who. I just love you.
Just say that you're not I love you regardless of why is there regardless?
Why is there regardless?
That means there was something trying to
That means there was an obstacle
that you had to get over.
Why are you climbing?
Now let me tell you something. I don't want to be loved with obstacles. Anyway.
Unreserved love.
Bona.
That's what I want. And when I navigate spaces, I want to navigate spaces with people I trust.
Exactly.
People I know will have my back. If somebody comes homophobic slur, I want someone who is straight to use their straight power.
Because I'm already in danger.
By virtue of being, I haven't said anything at all.
Just by
breathing. And so, if you want to be an ally, a real ally, or if you are an ally, please teach yourself and other potential allies around you
Definitely.
about what it means, firstly, to be in the queer community, your place in the queer community. You know how they say you can be a white person part of a black movement, but you can never lead it?
Yes.
The same with this. You can be an ally.
Yes.
Ga ke batla go bona in the front lines.
That is what I wanted to say.
Let's talk about it.
Allies that want the A in LGBTQIA plus to be
About them.
allies. Warafa.
Opamben.
Warafa.
Oh,
Yar.
make it make sense. 2 plus 2 is equal to 65.
Sure, Aurata. Homonate, but like you're
Are
not
you
part of
crazy?
the community though.
Are you crazy?
Let's keep it 8 more than 92. You're not part of the community, and I understand that you respect the community and you want to do your best to make sure it's safe for people in the community. But why would it enter?
Why would it enter? That A stands for what? Asexuality.
Yeah.
And it doesn't stand for ally.
Why we get a main character?
Well, listen here. Today, chalk duster. Rahunta. It's all great and well to be an ally, but you can never be the front of the movement, right? We appreciate your love, we appreciate your support, but I don't want to navigate spaces feeling like you want to speak for me.
Like, don't make your voice more heard than mine.
Yeah, your voice shouldn't be louder than me.
Exactly.
And there are things in your experience that I shouldn't be louder than you in. In my experience, let my voice be the one that speaks.
Exactly.
You know, we've spoken about identity, we've spoken about navigating spaces, we've spoken about allyship. And I think the biggest thing in what we're doing is we want people to know there is so much that we need to question.
Exactly.
There is so much that we need to unpack.
And we don't have all the answers.
We don't have all the answers. Oh no, for sure.
The questions will keep coming.
The questions will always be there.
And I mean, we'll learn as much as we can.
And we learn as far as we can.
And speak about as much as we can.
Do better when we can do better.
But as an encyclopedia.
We are not the encyclopedia of queerness.
Exactly.
Our experiences are different. We might share an experience with you. We might even share a common experience. But our experiences are our own. What we share is our own. Right? It is not absolute. It is not the holy grail. But we do hope to start a conversation. We're not here to end one. We're here to start one. Right? Send us your questions.
You did say we're unpacking.
We are unpacking.
Haripaki.
Haripaki. And we want to know, what do you want to know? But until then, until then, remember, what must they remember?
They must remember. Very important thing to take.
Get out the excited with it. It's just the queer in you. When you're queer, you're multi-talented.
Exactly. I'm gonna go back to last week's video. Number 1. Queerness is fluid. I will say this every week.
Accent,
so you don't forget. Sorry. Yeah.
Accent. Come on. The people want to hear the accent.
I will say this every week. Because it's important.
Yeah.
Queerness is fluid. But this week I will say, remember, always take allies with a pinch of salt.
Allies.
Always.
It's a double entendre. Even the allies in Bram, the allies in Pretoria, when you're walking, yes, it's a double entendre. Allies are not per se for anybody.
And the allies in Brown. There's queer baiting. Sorry. Sorry.
We have to do that next week. Queer baiting. Comment down below, would you like to talk about that? Let's talk about that. Because that's an extension of this conversation. But I think we've sat and spoken enough. No, until we see you in the next one. Because there will be a next one. We are still here. Munyankisi. Subscribe. Go check out Buhle's channel, by the way. You've got 2 channels.
Queer X, yeah.
Tell them about it.
So I have Queer X is my channel. That's where I post everything, my vlogs, I don't do that many story time.
Personal life.
I have a new channel.
Okay.
The theatre vlogger. I haven't posted anything on it because we're waiting for lockdown. I'm waiting for theatres to open. But as soon as theatres open, I'm there. You know,
inside.
I'm vlogging the theatre experience. I'm not gonna vlog plays, but I'm vlogging
the experience.
The theatre experience. Like a blogger would write about a theatre piece they've seen, I'll speak about it. You know what I'm saying? So yes, those are my channels.
Now subscribe. Anyways, that bitch. Remember, I love you. I appreciate you. I support them. Support us too. And be a bad bitch. always. Bye, y'all. Do you want to start off with us? Hey beautifuls, welcome back to my channel. Now if you it's when we want to film, is that homophobic? It's homophobic. When we want to film, the helicopter okay, it's gone. Now if you're new here, then you know that you wouldn't know.
Can you somebody around?
Probably, maybe there's someone who stole something. Okay, let you speak me. Okay. What did I say? You know what? We've spoken about identity, navigating spaces in that identity, then allyship, right? And it's about, what is it about? I don't know what I'm saying. You know, intersectional conversations.
Yes.
Just like this.
Just
Helicopter yare hello.
Yo, this is so.
Helicopter yare hello.
So homophobic. Yo.
Yeah.